You think you've got my number figured out? A motive born in drought and brevity. And if I'm not the soul of your design, I blatantly decline your remedy. Don't box me in, don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine. I wasn't always just a single shade, a palette full of gray in reverie. And I can burn it brighter than the sun. Don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much else. And if I fall behind, ignoring all the signs, and if I lose the fight, I still rage against the I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine. It's plain and simple, dear. I'll still be here when you're gone. You gather souvenirs, but I will never be your pawn, your pawn, your pawn. My love was in
Welcome to the Monday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Monday. I hope everyone had a good weekend. Welcome, everybody. Eager. Welcome. Soul Life. Welcome. Rolando. Nope. Schmegly. Saris. Moanep. Michael Hassler. Yeah, so my camera keeps disconnecting. That's okay. I'm lurking on the Twitch side. Appreciate it. Dude, welcome. No contract, no work. Reset that USB cable. Yep. Welcome, everybody. We see. Awesome. That's all that matters, folks. It's working. Okay. Welcome, everybody. Worked all last week on a good faith deal and I thought I would have a new contract today. Didn't happen. Yikes. Well, it's hard to hear that. Yeah, it wasn't your imagination, apparently. Soul Life, that was not your imagination. My phone is linked to my laptop. And, of course, I got a couple of spam calls back to back. I didn't realize it was going to ring through the computer. But it does, apparently. John Lithium, welcome. My director said I'm good until October, just need some ink on paper. Understood. Somebody get that phone. Yeah. It was, spam. Won the contract negotiations for my current job and got myself a nice little raise. Nice. All right, folks, we got to get started. Today's going to be a simple, short stream. We're going to try to do this in a fashion to prepare for this space that we'll be launching next week. We got about 8 days left. Next Tuesday, this space launches, folks. If you haven't already, go check out this space. We will be a part of this. We'll be streaming on this space Tuesday, June 10th at 7 p.m. We're still trying to figure out whether I'm going to do 1 hour or 2 hours. I saw that the Ladder Hack sent me a message, so I got to figure that out. But either way, 7 o'clock is when I'll be on this space. There's going to be a lot of very cool people on. So I highly recommend to just go and check that out. Do all the things, all the social media stuff. So we're going to do like a couple of mock streams as to how it would be. I don't know how much time all this is going to take. So yeah, we're going to try to get like through this in a timely manner. And of course, we'll figure out how I'm gonna do this content live. F it, we'll do it live. Did ADT get a haircut? Nope, it's just tied. I'm so mad I missed movie time. It's okay. There's always going to be movie events. We do a lot of those. But, you know, one movie event you'll eventually be able to attend. It's not the last movie event of the world. There's going to be more. So with that out of the way, folks, if you're on YouTube and you're on Twitch, okay, go check out this space. They're on everything from Twitter to Blue Sky to YouTube to TikTok. That is this space TV. Okay. I'm sure if you are familiar with the letter hack, which I imagine a lot of you folks are, this is not news to you. I was literally flying an airplane to Vancouver. Landed safe and sound. Vancouver's airport is super scary with all the big boy planes. One of my favorite things to say out loud. I like it here so far. Appreciate it. See, Soul Life took you to the right place. Told you. Celosia Pigeon, welcome. All right. Quick. Gotta be quick. Let's get things out of the way. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. I am a difficult truth. If you have never seen me before, I do the news, I do the politics. We're here Monday through Thursday around 5 p.m. Eastern Time. If you want to support the channel, there are many different ways of doing so, folks. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep liking the stream on YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube. We're at 371, 70 something. That's 130 to 500. That's not that much, folks. That's not that much. If you want to support the channel directly, hit that merch store, ! Tip. Join the Discord if you want to keep up with the channel. Heat, how's it going? Substack. Gonna watch a James Bond movie. Nice. Meh, how are you? We're here. Anyone catch those chiclets after that Ukraine attack today? Nope. Welcome, Fomashina. All right, folks, let's get started. I need a smoke. I feel that. Ukraine destroyed strategic targets while Russia just flew cruise missiles at civilian targets. Oof. What timing though? Gotta give credit to Ukraine. That was a real ass whooping. Oof. Let's start off with a bit of fun stuff. We all like to see Republicans get wrecked at their own town halls. We all love to see it, don't we, folks? Especially after that Joni Ernst viral moment. Or I guess Mary Antoinette moment, I suppose. My Ukrainian family's coming here next week, housing them for 6 months as they become engineers for BC Ferries. Nice.
I was also proud to vote for President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill last week. This is a generational investment. This is a general investment. This is your time.
It's not. And mind you, again, this is a Republican town hall. Okay? There is a reason why Republicans keep telling excuse me, there's a reason why Republicans keep telling their folks to stop having town halls. It's because of moments like this that keep happening. Dude, even the boomers are mad. Yeah, of course they're mad because it's now affecting them, right? Like it's all fun and games, right? Until it's your Medicare that gets cut. It's all fun and games until it's your disability benefits that are no longer available or underfunded, so that getting what you're entitled to is difficult, right? I just wanted to be having racist. Why are you cutting Medicare? Exactly. That's the only way conservatives ever learn. It has to affect them first. Yep. Eat it. Leopard's meat face. Yep. We all die. Yep. Like, this is like the big, like, let them eat cake moment. Boomers shot themselves and everyone else in the face. Yeah, like that's, I think like that's the tragedy of this all of this, right? Like it'd be one thing if like boomers shot themselves in the foot, right? But like turning around and then like, so like what boomers did and like what the overall electorate, okay, did in electing Trump and putting Republicans in power for decades, is to literally shoot everybody in the foot until there's no one else left to shoot in the foot except themselves, and then they shot themselves in the foot. Or rather, maybe it's the opposite. Maybe they shot themselves in the foot, got mad that they shot themselves in the foot, blamed it on the government, and then shot everyone else in the foot. Right? Would that be a more accurate description? Maybe that's the more accurate sequence of events as to how this went, right? Let them eat their cake and let the leopards run. Charlie Martini, welcome. Boomer shot us in both feet and made us walk it off. Yep. Oh no, it's the consequences of our actions. They just caught a few strays while blasting everyone else. Yeah, probably fair, because they didn't think they were going to catch any strays while they were just, shooting around, right? Proverbially, right? FG, welcome. Shot themselves in the foot while their boot was firmly placed on their necks. I kind of like that. Like, I kind of like that analogy. Like, just imagine, like, this just wild, like, shooting without looking. And then, like, because there's multiple boomers doing this at the same time, some of them caught strays, and then, like, they're mad about it. Yeah. I dropped a skimboard on my foot once that ruined my Florida vacation. Oof. Yeah, we just wanted to say slurs and be mad against Mexicans. Don't take our checks away. Yeah, not good to see him. Okay. Oof. Are we gonna get?
You just watched a snippet from Republican.
Are we gonna get the clip?
In Ashley Hinson's town hall, she represents Iowa's second congressional district, which
this is a different representative.
Is a very deep red district, by the way, that she won comfortably by double digits. But fast forward to today, and it's obvious that her constituents aren't very happy with her since she just voted to give tax cuts to the rich at their expense. And I'm not sure what she was expecting when she said she voted for the big, beautiful bill. But if she was expecting applause, she is delusional. But I mean, this is emblematic.
Right, but like that's the thing though. They think that the cult is just gonna like back them up. They think that everyone is like them. And those who aren't are just like the delusional liberals, right? Yoga writes you, the craziest thing is that the racism and the cuts to Medicaid are connected. Medicare and Medicaid are connected. They're using undocumented immigration as an excuse to threaten cuts in my state. Oh yeah, no, that's 100%. It's just like they don't. I don't know if they don't know or it's not. It didn't grasp that by doing that they're just spiting themselves, because like as we all know and we've had to repeat countless and countless of times, undocumented people are not entitled to take out benefits. They can only contribute to benefits, right? That's how this works. Eliza, thank you for the follow. Welcome. So it's like they are the only they end up hurting themselves, and then they're mad, and then like they're, I don't know, just told that it's the immigrants' fault again. I don't know. These people are low information and high propaganda. Yeah, it's not like I don't even know why I'm even bothering trying to rationalize this. There's nothing to rationalize here other than like I don't, other than like these people just are bigots and just don't like brown people. That's it. It's probably not deeper than that, but it's affecting them and it's affecting everybody else. Yeah, it's hard enough with documentation. True. I tried to reason with some kids today to not bike in the visible smoke outside, only to be told by parents that the news lies. Phenomenal. Fantastic. Undocumented immigrants pay about $96 billion in taxes annually. Yes, and they don't and can't see any of that. They don't get Social Security. They don't get disability. Okay, they don't get Medicaid. Like that's not how this works. Sorry. I just want to be racist. Don't touch my stuff. Yep. Yeah, fake news while coughing out their lungs. I mean, like that's actually so like wild, right? It's like out of a movie, man.
Town halls have been going. They show up, they get reamed, then they complain about it, and then they leave. But what do you expect? Like, you are destroying the lives of your constituents and letting Donald Trump ruin our country. So, of course, when you show up and your constituents have the opportunity to confront you, they're not going to be very happy. Hence why these are happening a lot less frequently. But credit to Ashley, she showed up and everything was going fine. You know, she got on stage, made her introductory statement.
Ooh, that does sound good.
And they were quiet until she brought up Donald Trump, which is when the attendees lost their shit.
Oof. Fake news. Tides of measles. You know, the sad thing is like that's not even hyperbole. I can't, like it's 2025 and I'm actually saying that. Like that's actually not even like that hyperbolic of a statement.
And the president is, I believe, fighting for you and fighting for me. I'm fighting alongside of him. And I think God saved President Trump's life in Butler. I think he saved his life in Butler, Pennsylvania for a reason.
Yeah, but like not, nobody else's life, right? Like the guy that, died behind them. That guy didn't matter. God said, screw that guy in particular. Oh my god. That's amazing. Screaming fake news as the ivermectin continues to not work. Do it with French fries, new band name. Copyright that. Do it, do it, do it, do it. I love me a good boo. My girlfriend is an effing doctor. She ordered measles vaccines. Yep. Well, you guys believe in vaccines in Canada. You know, despite all your problems, you guys are at least somewhat semi-sane. My girlfriend's medical practice has not had to order effing vaccines ever. Oh, well, that's our fault, isn't it? We got emergency room care, as we all do, because it's the law, and their kid can qualify for some stuff, I believe. And they get some aid while they wait for immigration court to process them, which can be avoided by quickly processing MIE, more resources, but I'm honestly not too familiar with aid. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm sure that, you know, they're not going to deny care in a medical emergency, right? I'm just saying, like, you can't walk up to, like, Medicaid and be like, yeah, I want to apply for Medicaid. Or like, yeah, I want to apply for Social Security Disability. Or like, yeah, I want to apply. Like, that's not how that works, right? Because that's the lie that these people, are pushing, right? The brown people, the brown people are taking up, you know, resources from Medicaid, and that's why we got to do, you know, the cuts. I mean, the efficiencies of Medicaid, you know? Ladybug, welcome. Canada has some anti-vax. Oof. Canada has some absolute nuts who legit don't trust science. Oh, man. There's a breakout of measles here. Surprise, surprise. Canada does have a lot of right-wingers. They just haven't completely taken over. Wow. I mean, like, I know, you know, Canada has its issues. Polyev, you know, comes to mind. But, I mean, I didn't know it was like that. It's weird the folks who disbelieve science are the most uneducated people I've had the misfortune to talking to. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah. Polyev lost the election and lost his own riding. Our stupidity is spreading to Canada and the rest of the world. Well, as an American, I apologize. I did not vote for this. Okay? As an American, I am doing my part, okay, to fight this exact nonsense. It's just social media. The proliferation of social media definitely has an impact. Like, I'm not gonna lie, this kind of nonsense would not have flown like 10 years ago, or at least not at this speed. Does that make sense? Like, does that make sense? Like, it's one thing for like all these conspiracy theories and these nuts, like, for example, flat earthers and like these anti-vax people. You know, information like that spreads, and eventually, right? You know, you had your little sects of flat earthers or whatever. But I think social media definitely has a pretty big impact on manifesting these conspiracy theories and making them mainstream. I mean, we have members of Congress, right? Like elected members of Congress talking about election denial, talking about Jewish space lasers, talking about anti-vax stuff, right? I mean, it's wild. Burn your phones. Did you guys talk about Lindsey Graham? No, what happened to Lindsey Graham? How about the lefties all go to one country and the righties go to the other? I'm game with that. Like, I actually can, like, they just leave? They're the ones causing the problems. Why don't they just go to the, like, wherever, wherever they want. Burn your phones. MTG flipped pretty quick once the Republicans were pro-Israel. Yeah, but I mean, this is the lady that was like introduced by like Nick Fuentes, okay? They go to Mars. Lindsay is just speaking more freely these days. Lindsey Graham said Greta Thunberg and her friends better know how to swim because she's traveling to Gaza by boat. Okay. I see what you're talking about. That was a tweet. So basically, what he's saying is that he hopes that Israel sinks their bomb. It was a Freudian slip. That Israel sinks their boat. So that's the implication. What a disgusting person. Kind of crazy how they're pro-Israel and anti-Semitic, but it works, right? Because it's the fascism that it's the fact that they're inflicting mass death on brown people that kind of massages the whole like anti-Semitism. Like they're Nazis, but like because Israel's doing Nazi shit, they're like, yes, I want this, right? Because this is advancing my pro-Nazi shit. So yeah, like mass murder of brown people, sure. It is disgusting behavior. The average age in Palestine is 18. Yep. Any of you guys read the Red Mars series by Kim Stanley? Nope. Deal on taking all the coast. They can have the tornado land. It's more psi than phi. We can they can have Florida. Not the brown people.
I think that he is helping us to save and redirect the future of our country.
So it's nice to see that even in deep red districts like this one, they're already fed up with Donald Trump's bullshit. But what she said there was so bizarre to me. Why would you say something like that? It's almost an insult to the firefighter who died at Trump's rally in...
Right, because like, yeah, dude, like God has his plan for Trump. Except that guy. Screw that guy. Oh my God. Like that's what they're saying, right? When they talk about Trump being spared and not even talking about the person who died. Ivermectin works. It's usually regulated as a treatment for worms in humans, not just farm. Oh yeah, but that's using the medication as it's intended, right? Like you would use ivermectin in these specific cases where you need it because that's what it's made for. We're talking mostly about the people who think it cures COVID and other things. That has nothing to do with it. Oh, you're right. You're right. Ivermectin does have uses, just not for COVID or measles. Okay, we have vaccines for that. I hope Graham doesn't choke servicing all his corporate donors. What about tacos? Is it Taco Tuesday? No, it's not Taco Tuesday. It's Taco Monday. Whatever. Trump always chickens out. It's always Taco Day. I just don't get how people eat up the BS. I saw a guy claiming that Obama had been controlling the country secretly for the last 4 years with Biden's auto pen, and they were so serious too because of what Trump posted on Truth Social a couple of days ago. At what point will they stop thinking, hey, that's a wild claim? I don't know. I mean, like, but that's the thing. Like, when you're so deep into the cult, right? Like, we're dealing with like true believers at that point who are just saying like the most unhinged stuff like that. Like Obama was secretly controlling Biden with like an auto pen for the last 4 years. Like that's just like unhinged stuff. Like we are divorced from reality, right? We're not on the same plane of existence right now. And that can only happen when you throw out critical thinking because you are in a cult. And that's that. I mean, like it's alien to us because like we just don't. I mean, I'd say us, but like, let me speak for myself. But personally, I don't get it. There's nothing to get, in my opinion. It's just these people are in a cult, and they are divorced from reality, and there's nothing that we can do for them unless they want to stop being in that cult. That's the logic they use, literally contradicting themselves in 4 words. Yep. Trump, Ashley Babbitt was killed. Nobody was killed. Oh yeah, like this is constant too. Sorry, I okay, gotcha. This is like, this is constant too, right? Tacos are life. They do it to Trump, so they must have done it to Biden. The auto pen nonsense is more projection. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, maybe. I just think it's just unhinged. It wouldn't surprise me though. Like Trump is just like not. Trump is just happy that he's not in jail, and that like all he has to do is like whatever the fascist inner circle tells him to do, and like that's it. And like whatever he has to do to get like a round of applause. I think like the only thing that has caught these people by surprise are the tariffs. That's about it. It's very frustrating to not live in reality with people. Yep, that's why you don't really engage with that. Like it's there's no point in engaging with somebody that is not living in reality, right? There's no point in engaging with them if they are not in the same plane of existence, okay? Because if they would, we wouldn't really have much to argue about, right? Like we would be arguing details. Like how much do you want to tax the rich? How do we solve wealth inequality? At what levels do you want to break down the tax bracket? Like we would be having those conversations, right? Like how much do you think that like corporate taxes need to be up? Like how excusable is it for having like 100 billionaires, okay? Like Elon Musk, just like sitting on a pile of gold effectively, while society can be benefited by, like, where do we want to redirect those resources that we have? How much do you think that we can build a railway system here? Like that's the type of conversations and back and forth that we would be having. But unfortunately, like we can't have these type of conversations because they're talking about how Obama is secretly controlling the presidency in the background. We're too busy trying to debunk Jewish space lasers, right? We're too busy like trying to debunk whether or not the election of 2020 was legitimate. You know? Yeah, where does the sun hide at night? Asking the real question. No one knows. It's also why the COVID vaccine was so effective. I mean, like, it was effective at what they said. Like, I think the problem was like between like social media and poor communication, right? I mean, like, so there's no point in rehashing this. Yeah, 100 billionaires and like 27 of them now work at the White House. Except Trump and Jesus. That's right. The only people who know where the sun goes at night. It's a very valid question. My mom and dad and my in-laws have the polio scars. It was eradicated, and here we are ordering iron lungs.
Butler.
In 2025, by the way.
Was his life not important to God either?
Nope.
It doesn't make any sense to me. This logic never makes sense. And as you can see, the audience wasn't buying it because they very clearly don't think that Trump is saving the country. Okay? They think he's destroying the country because he is, and they're not too happy with her complicity with his destruction of the country. For example, one attendee asked her about Donald Trump's shameless corruption and why she's not doing anything to rein it in. And as you're going to see, she was deeply offended by a comment that he made when he was asking this question.
One of the things...
Okay, let me pause that there. Before we actually do that, return to the taxation of the past, as Robert Reich says. Yeah, but like these are the debates that I want to have, right? Like, where do you want to go in terms of taxation, right? Where do you want to like break down the brackets and how much do you want to tax the brackets? Like, where do we go from here? right? And what do we use that new revenue for, right? These are discussions and debates that I want to be having, right? But unfortunately, we can't have that. We actually lost the Cold War. I think you guys did. Who knows? Yeah, I don't know. Reagan said we won, so I guess we did.
She's not doing anything to rein it in. And as you're going to see, she was deeply offended by a comment that he made when he was asking this question.
One of the things I'm really concerned about is the corruption in Washington. There's lots of reasons why somebody like you might be silent. You might be scared to say something. You might actually
Agree.
like to see the corruption. I know there are some that are making a lot of money from it. Or you might not care about it. Could you help?
All of those, by the way, like these type of questions and worded like this is beautiful. Okay, if you go to a town hall, if you go to a town hall, okay, this is the kind of, and this guy was prepared. Look, he brought Cliff Notes. Okay, he brought his little piece of paper. He's ready. Okay, this is the kind of stuff I want to see. If you guys go, if you're in the U.S. and you go to a town hall, okay, if you're Republican, if you have the unfortunate, I mean, it's like, there's lots of people that are being represented by Republicans, but if you have the unfortunate luck of being represented by a Republican and they happen to host a town hall, this is the kind of stuff that folks need to be practicing for and showing up and making these type of clips because this is hurting them. And not only that, there's people listening to this, right? There's an audience here, okay? If the representative or senator does not want to answer your question, address the audience and make and give them that open-ended answer, right? Like if she, I don't know what she's going to answer with, but probably she's going to give like some kind of non-answer or deflect that. So I would just turn to the crowd and say, like, well, you guys make up your mind because clearly she's not going to answer the question, which is deeply disturbing as a representative in Congress who has the power to rein in the executive. The CIA partitioned the USSR. The US won the Cold War. My representative thinks CRT is a disease, so oof. Sorry to hear that. Ms. Blue Ocean, welcome. "1945 was merely the retreat from Germany to the US." You know, when you look at it like that, it kind of does make sense, right? I mean, Operation Paperclip. Yeah. Half American politicians, how even some Canadians, especially to convoy protesters, were entirely funded by Russia. Yeah, and then they got mad when that was being called out. Or did the investigations of financials of the Canadian convoy, and they were funded almost exclusively from Russian bank accounts. Yeah, and then they got mad for not only being called out, but also being threatened by their finances being shut down because it was being given to them by a enemy state. Is this the woman who replied with the video? No, I think that was Joni Ernst. It's me, Sandy, and I'm fighting with YouTube. Oh, no! I didn't realize. What happened? Did your account get blocked? Trudeau was right to declare the War Measures Act.
Me understand why you...
The Occupy Ottawa movement was entirely funded by Russia. Yeah, and then like, you had all you had a whole bunch of people making a whole bunch of hoopla about freedom of speech and whatnot, and like, which is wild when you think about it. They do not want to give me my channel back. Environmental Coffee House? No way. Wow, that is beyond messed up. Like, did they like what happened? Like, why did they really violating the child safety policy? That sounds like a whole lot of BS. I agree. That sounds made up. Is this like something that like you got mass reported for? That sounds like YouTube just like on the whim, like hey, give them an answer. That's the first thing that comes up. That's wild. That's wild. I will tell you on Wednesday night. Gotcha. Present day Russia is not the good guy that the USSR was. Putin is sucking up the patriarchal krill with an anti-LGBT stuff. It is BS. We have freedom of speech in Canada, just don't be effing fascist, funded by a foreign entity. They won't tell me. Yep, classic.
Are silent about
Classic.
this corruption.
Well, first of all, Steve, thank
Also, I like how he just says, like, I want to know why you're silent about this corruption. Like, please tell us. Leaving that open-ended is beautiful. On point indeed.
Thank you for the question. I think it's really unfair to imply that I like to see corruption in Washington, D.C. I reject that premise wholeheartedly.
Okay, so then what is it? If you don't like corruption, then why are you supporting corruption? I don't know, So Life. Like, was it like a mass report? Like, is this something that can happen if you get mass reported? I don't know. You were infringing on our rights in Ottawa. I have friends that live in the city, and the noise was so loud it burst their son's eardrum. Jesus. Amazon did that to me. I can't comment, ask questions, review. All they can say is I violated US, no specific part. That's such nonsense.
I am here answering your questions in public because I care about transparency. Just a minute, I'm going to answer your question. I care about transparency and accessibility and doing things the right way. I was actually just named to the House Ethics Committee because I do things the right way. That is a committee that is evenly balanced. It's
That's
Republicans
so
and
funny.
Democrats 5 and 5, and we have to, in many cases, look at very serious allegations against our colleagues and police them from doing the right thing. So I'm answering your question. Steve, I'm answering your question. You may not like my answer, and if that's the case, then that's your right to not like my answer, but I'm answering your question.
You're not answering the
Well,
question.
no, see how, yeah, like she didn't answer the question for a very good reason, right? Because the real answer is like either I'm okay with this corruption, or I don't believe what Trump is doing is corrupt, in which case that is deeply, deeply disturbing that you can't see the obvious and in-your-face corruption, right? So like either you don't belong in that committee, right? Because you clearly can't see ethic violations and you clearly are incapable of discerning what corruption is, and you are unable to do your job as a congressperson to hold the executive accountable, or you just are okay with it. So it's one or the other. You can't have it both ways. You can't just pretend like you don't see what's happening, and you also pretend like you care about corruption, right? My ethics teacher was the least ethical person at my uni. Ironic. I have the snail mail address, and I'm sending a certified letter, and my lawyer is too. Google sucks, indeed. I mean, all these big companies suck. Because, like, that's just nonsense. Like, this has been a problem for years now. Like, people just get whole channels deleted and like no real TOS, no serious TOS violation. They don't like even Twitch. They don't even like. Well, I don't know if they've changed how they do things, because thank goodness I have not had to deal with this before. But Twitch used to not even tell you what the reason was. They used to not even give you the clip that got you banned so that you don't do this again, or don't get suspended again. Like nothing. It was just like, you're done. Bye. Have a 10-day suspension. Bye. Have a 7-day suspension. Bye. Have a month suspension, or you permaban, whatever the consequence ends up being. Okay, do your show. I'll try to be on left past 10. No problem. I will be there because I want to hear. The only thing I can think of is an item had 5 stars and positive reviews, but they changed the product, so all ratings were for like a tire and not the lamp, so I commented that. Wow. There's always Rumble, yeah. Where the action is, right? That's where I want to end up, on Rumble,
Question, actually. He asked you specifically about Donald Trump's corruption, which you don't really seem comfortable talking about. He didn't ask you about corrupt members of Congress, and don't get me wrong, that's prevalent as well, but the most corrupt member of Congress pales in comparison to Donald Trump. This is by far the most shamelessly corrupt administration in American history. If we went through all of his scandals, it would take 2 hours. I mean, just recently, there's the meme...
like, seriously, it, like, unironically would take... Oh, look, hey, dude. We're having a soda on you. Yeah, it's stream on Rumble down. Maybe we'll get like we'll get that we'll get that bot boost. Okay, maybe Rumble throw some bot views for us, Rumble with Jimmy Dore. Yeah, exactly where I want to be. When I think about my political career, I think I want to be just like Jimmy Dore. He's driving, but I'll tell him, thank you, appreciate that. Hey, dude, remember that show? No, I don't, actually. More than 2 hours to summarize. Yep. Rumble chat will be more racist than Call of Duty lobby. Yeah. Like, I think I would have to have, like, a dedicated, I think I would have to have, like, a dedicated, moderator for Rumble, because, like, I feel like that would just fly off the handles real quick. Like, that's something that I could not do without preparation, but, like, why would I even want to be there in the first place? I mean, like, I used to Rumble to try to reach those folks, but it's a scary platform. Yep.
Coin, which operates as a backdoor bribery scheme. There's the private dinners with crypto billionaires. There's the $400 million plane from Qatar. There's the potential pay-to-play for pardons, letting elites buy positions in government, the conflicts of interests regarding his businesses and foreign policy. There's the ad read that he did on the White House lawn for his biggest donor, Elon Musk.
I mean, like, literally, that's wild. I may sound silly, but what is Rumble? Okay, so imagine if 4chan decided to launch a streaming service. That's Rumble. I saw Chris Lee's got pardons. Yep.
I mean, I can't recall any other public official being as openly corrupt as Donald Trump. He is a lifelong con man, and his corruption isn't a priority for you, which is very, very alarming. I think it speaks to your character as well, which is why he said that. But I mean, if you're not making this a priority as a member of Congress, if you really do care about corruption, you're complicit, full stop. But putting aside the corruption, you know, this man is literally destroying our democracy. Like, as bad as the corruption is, I think the long-term damage that he's doing that's irreparable to American democracy is worse than the corruption. And one of her constituents brings this up, and her answer predictably was more indignant bullshit.
Fantastic. 35 million bank fraud. Yep. Laws don't matter. Now I wish I didn't delete my Twitch. Make a new one.
President Trump and his cabinet, in addition to being totally unqualified and inept, are breaking laws by ignoring federal judges' orders. The checks and balances of our government includes Congress's responsibility
to
hold the executive branch accountable. My question for you...
Again, this guy, I don't know, is it the same guy? I don't know. Either way, this is the kind of stuff, folks. Take notes, okay? If you know or you get wind of a town hall, okay, and your representative is a Republican, this is the kind of stuff that you need to be asking, and just kind of modify it to your state, but in any case, or your district. But in any case, this is the kind of attitude and line of questioning that needs to be hammered down constantly, okay? Constantly, every time, every opportunity, okay? That's the kind of line of questioning. I will, but I'm tired. This is exhausting, I bet.
Is when are you going to do the responsibility that you were elected for by holding the executive branch?
Mind you, again, this guy came prepared. He's got his little notepad, okay? He's got his notepad. The guy's ready. Guy's ready to rock and roll.
Accountable up to and including impeachment.
Well, let me start off by saying that judges need to follow the law, and
what does this have to do with judges? Oof. Yikes. Yikes. And who's saying that judges aren't following the law? Like, where's the evidence of that?
I don't think this country needs another impeachment charade. That's what we saw in the last.
Well, it wouldn't be it wasn't a charade the first time. It wasn't a charade the second time. You people thought it was a charade. That's your claim, okay? In fact, if I remember correctly, okay, and chat can immediately jump in and correct me if I'm wrong. The first, was it the second impeachment? They didn't even want to hear the evidence in the Senate, okay? They didn't even want to hear the evidence in the Senate. They wanted to just hold the vote, to just say not, to just like not guilty. I guess it's not really like a trial, but you get what you get what I'm saying. I don't know if it was both times, or I'm thinking, if my memory serves me right, it was the second time that he got impeached by the House. The Republicans didn't even want to have the trial. They didn't want to vote on whether to, remove him. Or rather, they just wanted to go straight to the vote and just acquit him. The second time. Thank you. It was the second time. Yeah, see? My memory holds true. Yeah, they didn't want to hear the evidence. So, you know what? Like, how could you say that was a charade when this was, that you guys weren't even willing to accept the evidence that was gathered and extensively gone through in these impeachment inquiries and trials. It wasn't a charade. He got effing impeached. Yep. Not a charade. The issue is that nothing was done about it, about the impeachments, just like if you were to impeach today. I have absolutely no faith that they would do anything about it. Yep. Repeat something enough and people will believe it. Yep. Yeah, the January 6th impeachment, that was the second one. Should have been Bernie, man.
Asked Congress, and I voted no on that for a reason. Judges need to follow the law as well. And, you know, what I think is important about the bill we just passed is we have...
Oh, my goodness. Like, it literally, like, we're talking about holding the executive accountable, and she's, like, essentially, like, kowtowing to the Trump, like, line, right? And Trump right now is on this tip to try to, like, bend the judiciary because, like, as we can see, right? As we can see, in front of our very own eyes, out of their own mouths, the Congress is not, it's functionally like useless, right? Trump doesn't need to attack Congress. He has them already. That's why he's on this warpath with the judiciary. Yeah, why are you guys upset about this? You voted for this. He's already out of office by the time, but he could have been barred from holding future office. Yep, i.e. now. Garland could have prevented a lot of damage by holding Trump accountable. Yep, instead he sat on his hands. Yep.
Number of judges who have been activist judges and going beyond the scope of their district courts.
I'll translate for you since I speak politician fluently. She's telling you that she thinks Donald Trump is a king, basically. She's seemingly bragging about the hidden provision within the big, beautiful bill that prohibits courts from holding the administration in contempt, making their rulings completely unenforceable. But yet, she's ironically saying that the judges are the ones not following the law as Trump defies court orders, including, by the way, a 9-0 ruling from the Supreme Court, which is not a liberal-leaning court. It is a hyper-conservative court, but every single one of them said he must facilitate the return.
And mind you, again, this is the same person who we just saw claim that she cares about ethics, right? About being ethical, right? Because she's like in the head of the ethics committee, or wants to be, or was put in part of the, I forgot what she said, I apologize. And this is the same person who cares about corruption.
Rodrigo Garcia,
right?
And he has not complied. So every single word out of her mouth was complete and utter fucking horseshit, and her constituents very clearly were not letting her gaslight them. But on the subject of that provision in Trump's big beautiful bill, Congressman Mike Flood, who represents Nebraska's 1st district, was asked about that same provision at his town hall, and his answer is genuinely mind-blowing to me.
Can you please tell us why you voted to approve a budget bill that includes Section 70302, which effectively prohibits federal courts from enforcing contempt orders? Please let me answer my question. I only got 30 seconds. Which would then allow current and future administrations to ignore those contempt orders by removing the enforcement capabilities.
I do not agree with that section that was added to that bill.
Oh, come on.
This provision was unknown to me when I voted for the bill.
So what you're saying is you didn't read the bill? You didn't read the bill. Let's be honest, okay? Just tell us that you're okay with this, okay? That's such a cheap cop-out to say, like, I didn't know that provision. Bro, you have literally one job, okay? You literally have one job, okay? That's it. That's it. You have one job, and that is to legislate, okay? That's it. That's like me saying at my job, like, oh, I didn't know I was supposed to provide customer service, okay? I didn't read that part of the job description as I apply for customer service agent, okay? Like, be for real, man. In Canada, the Conservatives legitimately lost 30% favorability because we voted in Liberals. The cowardice and inability of your guys' Democratic Party is also at fault. You see that person take a stealth photo? You could see the UV flash because the lens filter. Sneaky. Why are the suits taking photos of people that are upset with this? Oh wait, I have employees. I didn't read that part. I mean, like, seriously, like, can you imagine, like, you know, if, as like I don't know, whatever, waiter. Like, oh, I didn't know I was supposed to wait on people. Where was that? I didn't read that part of the job description. I'm supposed to legislate as a legislator? Nah, for real? Nah, for real? Now, next thing you're going to tell me is that I'm supposed to be reading bills too. Okay? Next thing you're telling me, you're going to tell me that I'm supposed to read the bills that I'm going to inevitably vote on. Nah, be for real.
Okay,
I didn't know the price because I didn't read the register.
Next question.
I am not going to hide the truth.
What? You didn't know about the provision in the bill that you voted for that strips away enforcement power from courts? You just didn't know? And you admitting this makes you look good in your mind, I guess, because you're being honest. Listen, I don't know what would be worse, honestly, if he was really this negligent or if he voted for it because he thinks Trump should be a king, like Hinson does, apparently. I mean, either way, this is disqualifying, to put it mildly. Now, to be fair, he does go on to say that he expressed concern.
What? You mean like me being a content creator, I'm expected to make content? What? Dude, I didn't know that. I didn't know that as a content creator, I was supposed to create content. I'm fully unaware of this. I didn't read that part. What? I'm fully convinced that none of them really read the bills. Yeah, which is deeply. I mean, like, either it's one or the other, right? Like, either you really didn't read the bills, or you did and you were like, "Yep, this is fine." Wait, I have employees. I didn't read that part. I'm a senior IT manager, one step below director. It's like IMTG harassed Biden for defending Medicare, and then her side cut it. Classic. That's like this is like decades. Decades. Like, this is a decades old dance.
To senators about this provision and asked them to correct his fuck up. But with that being said, he voted for a bill that is still inexcusable by other metrics, even if he genuinely does disagree with that particular portion of the bill. This legislation steals money from his constituents to give it to the richest Americans in the country. It is a reverse Robin Hood. And when he was asked about the substance of this bill,
when Biden said the Republicans are cutting Medicare and she screamed at him, yeah, I remember that. I think it was at a State of the Union. I feel bad. I kind of stopped watching Humanist Report because I know we'll watch it here. I should go to play all of Mike's stuff so he gets the views. Yeah, and also I think also subscribe if you haven't done so. Don't watch my stuff. Watch his stuff too. Mass G, welcome. How's it going? BRB gonna head home from work. Yeah, it's it's the same old story, same old song and dance. They neither read, write, or even vote for the bills. Basically, staffers send messages communicating votes that they're never actually involved with the decision for. I didn't know that last part. Wow. I mean, like, you know, it's been known that like corporations essentially like basically draft bills and they just send it to Congress, right? Wasn't there a scandal where like literally the company's logo was still on the bill? It's also true for the vast majority of the Democratic Party. Oh, I don't doubt that. I like watching it with my friends. Palantir and Boeing have been guilty of this. Okay, yeah, I mean, like this is not even new. Not even new. Marjorie Taylor Greene could be outwitted by a goldfish if Trump told her to wear sandpaper panties. She would.
He had expectedly the most disingenuous answer ever.
How do you justify the reduction of program?
I am once again asking folks to take notes about the line of questioning that these people are giving their Republican Congress people, okay? Because these things are going viral.
For poor, while giving enormous tax breaks to the wealthiest 10% in the U.S.
By the way, zero lies detected.
Well, ultimately, like I've said tonight, it's a balance. It's a balance.
There is no balance. The only balance that's happening is the balance transfer of the poor to the rich. Okay, that's the only balance that's happening here.
We need Medicaid for those that are the most vulnerable. We need Medicaid for those that are not able-bodied. We need Medicaid for the developmentally disabled and the mentally ill. We need health care services. We need...
But you want to cut those anyways. You can try and pretend that you care about Medicaid or Medicare, but you want to cut those services anyways. Yeah, he literally voted to cut that. Yeah, and the way these people, these weasels, lie about this is say, you know, back to the immigrant stuff, right? You know, it's the brown people that are gonna, you know, they're the ones that are being taken care of. Okay, the brown people are being kicked off. That's why we're cutting making Medicaid more efficient so that it may serve real Americans or whatever your stupid excuses. Yeah, don't be mad at me. Be mad at the brown people.
Tala to work at our area hospitals. We need to know that if you present yourself at a hospital, we have a healthcare system that's going to help you.
But you're gutting Medicare, which incidentally is risking putting hospitals out of business, especially rural hospitals in red areas. You're not just screwing people that are on Medicaid who desperately need this, okay? It turns out that healthcare is non-negotiable. I know, it's a crazy concept, I know. But it turns out your health is not, like, negotiable. It's a thing that you need. Like, if you break your arm, if you get sick, whatever. Like, it turns out that, like, it's just not a negotiable thing. You need healthcare, okay? And doing this, again, you're not just screwing people who you've kicked off Medicare because you've upped the work requirements, okay? But you've also screwed everyone in that community because the hospital can't keep its doors open. We're all gonna die one day, yep. Republicans LARPing as Bernie Sanders suddenly? Yeah, trying to. So many older people, yeah, but if Bernie Sanders says this, if Bernie Sanders says we need a universal healthcare system, a system that would benefit everybody, they would immediately be like, no. So many older people rely on both Medicare and Medicaid for in-home services, nursing home stays, especially that because Medicare doesn't cover that. Medicaid does. The chap, welcome. Do they really need healthcare though? Or maybe you just need cheese? Yes.
We are balancing that every single day. In fact, Republicans said that we need to protect Medicaid.
Yeah, say and doing is two different things, right? You can say all you want that you want to protect Medicaid, but what you actually mean is like we want to protect Medicaid from like the dirty brown people. That's what they mean, but they never really want to say the last part, you know, because that might look a little bad. Same in Canada, anti-Indian rhetoric is instead of fixing issues. They don't want to do any student loan forgiveness or make it less expensive to go to school, so like we don't have any medical professionals soon, to be honest. Cool. Well, we love the poor and we want to send them to heaven. Well, they'll be happy. An honest Republican. Yep.
All right, next question.
I'd like to remind people that this is a red area and the crowd is chanting, tax the rich. Okay?
I never thought that I would hear tax the rich being chanted at a Republican town hall, but here we are. But the obvious question is, if we need Medicaid and you support Medicaid, why did you vote to cut it, dipshit? If you actually believe that, you wouldn't have voted to cut Medicaid. And with regard to something he said about EMTALA, I want to give you some additional...
So, like, again, like the wordplay that they use, the slimy, weaselly wordplay is that they're not cutting Medicaid. They're making sure that Medicaid is only for the people that are supposed to receive it. And then they immediately follow up with, like, oh, it's undocumented people that we're cutting. So that Medicaid works more efficiently for Americans, right? Like that's what they mean by when they say we're not cutting Medicaid for you. That's what they're talking about. Firefly, welcome.
Context there because it shows you how disgusting this individual is. This is the Emergency Medical Treatment and Labor Act signed into law by Ronald Reagan. Now, what it does is it says that Americans who show up to emergency rooms cannot be turned away if they don't have health insurance. Now, that is objectively good because I think that if you don't have insurance and you get into an accident or you have an injury, yes, you should get treatment for that. But this is not a long-term solution to America's healthcare crisis because you still get charged for healthcare that you can't afford. So even if you get treated, you're still going to go into debt and potentially become bankrupt. And it's effectively turned emergency rooms into makeshift doctor's offices for sick Americans who can't be seen by regular physicians, which is a problem because...
which like you could just solve by making sure that like it's a universal thing. Wait, Ronald Reagan did something sort of good. The doctors she works with have 6-figure debts. Yeah, yes, yep. And when it doesn't have to be this way, we need doctors, we need nurses. Okay?
Emergency rooms are supposed to be for emergencies. But if you need treatment and you can't get seen anywhere else, what else are you supposed to do? So the fact that this rich prick who's worth almost $8 million thinks EMTALA is adequate healthcare for the poor's is insulting. Every single person in his district should be outraged that they think just going to the emergency room is sufficient for healthcare. The solution is Medicare for all. Any politician in either party that doesn't support that is complicit with the deaths of 68,000 Americans every single year, period. But, I mean, he clearly doesn't care, and not caring would be bad in and of itself, but it's almost like he has contempt for his constituents since he's voted to fuck them over again and again and again. Like, not caring would almost be better than malicious, because it really feels like these politicians are malicious given how every single thing that they support is genuinely destructive, unless you're rich.
Right, well, that's kind of the point, right? That's kind of the point. People profiting from this can buy golden passports anywhere in the world and almost certainly hold the number already. No one will ever be at risk from living in the U.S. The Golden Dome budget could put thousands of people through medical school. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, you don't even have to run. Like, the money is there. There's people that have hundreds of billions of dollars, okay? The money is there. You don't have to run a deficit. You don't have to go in debt. Expropriate the wealth of these billionaires. Period. It's that simple. Okay? It is literally that simple. It's saying, hey, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, insert whatever like billionaires here. Like, you are no longer going to be worth hundreds of billions of dollars. Sorry. That's it. That's it. That's it. I'm sorry, Elon Musk, you are no longer going to be worth $400 billion, okay? I think we can all sleep at night knowing that like Elon, like we'd all be okay. And Elon Musk will be okay. He won't cease to exist if he's not worth $400 billion, okay? Doctors, nurses have largely been replaced by NPs or large nurse practitioners or less qualified people. Conversely, NPs sometimes seem to do more of the actual work than the actual in rural hospitals, while the actual doctors spend 10 minutes less on you and then shove you out the door. Winnie Rose, welcome. It's like you guessed what I was going to say. Keep a billion, just take the 200. No billionaires. You get 999. That's it. Also, 68K is a conservative estimate. The high ends are most likely unpublished and likely over 1 million. Well, you don't like your health care covered by GoFundMe campaigns? You don't enjoy the precarity that maybe you will or may not gain enough sympathy of people to cover your crippling healthcare needs? What? Brown Eye Black Dragon, thank you for the follow. Honestly, MPs are more inclined to do more for their much more inclined to do more for their patients than the MD will.
But, you know, they've been paying attention, all the people in his district, and the feeling is very clearly mutual. As much as he hates them, they hate him more. And I say this because one constituent used her time to just rip him a new asshole and call him a fascist to his face, and she got a standing ovation because of it. And as you're going to see, his fifis were hurt because she said that.
The president is destroying our democracy by defying the courts and the Constitution, attacking and silencing free speech in the media, allowing security breaches, erasing history, using tax dollars and presidential power for personal gains, blaming DEI and using it to discriminate, and promoting eugenics and genocide, all while showing signs of cognitive decline. Your votes, actions, and inactions show that you are a fascist politician, so please explain how you are not encouraging fascism in...
Yeah, exactly. Again, this person came prepared, got her little notepad. This is the kind of stuff, okay, that we need to see. Elon fears what all billionaires fear, a reduction in their influence and power. Ultimately, the actual wealth is secondary to what they really want. Yep. Can I tell you how that isn't going to happen with the current rhetoric or just tax the rich? It's a little more complicated than, and funnily enough, non-lib way. You can't just tax. There's loopholes and the wealth isn't liquid. Bernie or ASC or whoever doesn't actually run on tax in kind rhetoric, which from what I understand would be a real practical way. Here's a 7-minute video. We can take a look at it. Got to start using your gifts and go to pay your bucks to pay your doctor.
Are you going to invoke articles of impeachment against Trump?
Did I just see a brown person? Well, a woman got to ask a question, so that's good.
I get that you get an applause line when you call me a fascist, but I'm not.
Well, yeah, well, done deal, dude. He says he's not a fascist.
I am not a fascist. I'm an American, and I would never call you something like that. But I can tell you, at the end of the day, we have to live in this country together. I have an opinion about the debt. I believe that we need to cut spending. I believe that we need to figure this out before our financial markets fail. And I will do my best to stand up for you and the Constitution of the United States.
But you're not, though. You're not. You're complicit with a fascist movement. The Republican Party, as it stands right now, is a fascist party. Well, we would. You never would, because we wouldn't do the monster shit you are supporting. Yep. Yeah, this is what fascists always say. YouTube support, customer support is always a nightmare. This is an appeal from hell. Yeesh.
Next question.
Hell yeah. Credit to that brave woman for speaking truth to power. That is
Next
what
question,
I
bro.
think these politicians deserve. If they're going to be fascists, I think that they need to be confronted with the reality of their politics. And what she did there was a public service. But as you saw, he didn't address the substance of her question. And whenever he does address the questions directly, it's just a quick, banal response followed by next question.
That was for his comment about he wouldn't call us something like that.
For example, you know, there was a different town hall that we didn't talk about back in March from the same guy. And a different constituent asked him a really thoughtful question about Doge and Elon Musk's various conflicts of interest. And even though Elon Musk is now out of the picture, you know, this answer that he gave just shows that he has no regard whatsoever for his constituents. So let's watch.
Why is Elon Musk a better person to audit our government for waste, fraud, and abuse than the inspectors general that Donald Trump fired? Because Elon Musk has
Fantastic
conflicts
question.
of interest out the wazoo. He gets $40 billion a year in federal contracts from the federal government.
Trouble hearing you. Can you slow down a little bit?
Elon Musk gets $40 billion a year in funding from the federal government. What makes you think that has no conflict of interest? That he has no conflict of interest? Do you think he would cut that before he would cut our Medicare or our Social Security or our jobs?
Incidentally, that's exactly what he did, or tried to do. Yeah, I'm not a crook.
I support Elon Musk and the Department of Government Efficiency.
Oof.
Next question.
Next question.
I understand that he's fucking over you peasants, but I support him anyway. Next question.
Oof.
What? You're just going to move on? You're not going to address anything that he said there in a meaningful way?
Nope.
I mean, how are these people not forced to resign in shame? They are so fucking evil. So evil. And they have the audacity to make it seem like they're the ones doing their constituents a favor by holding these town halls in the first place. That is your motherfucking job. Okay? You are a public servant. Your constituents are your boss. You answer to them. But they make it seem like they're kings and queens, and
or maybe their constituents aren't us, you know?
they should bow down. Like, the peasants should bow down in their presence. And if you're Mike Lawler, for example, who's serving New York's 17th district, he has such a low opinion of his constituents that he put up this giant fucking sign of rules for his late April town hall to make sure that the peasants didn't get a little bit too rowdy. And he was deeply offended that his peasants ignored all of those rules and shouted him down the entire time anyway, because, you know, they refused to let him dodge questions that they were asking, which he very much was doing.
That are going to make everything more expensive for us, kidnapping and deporting 2-year-olds who have cancer and sending them off.
Yep.
My question to you, none of this is helping us. We're getting hurt. We in the community are being harmed by this. What are you...
It's just evil. Because they're extremely confident they are secure where they are and they're not afraid. And I think that's the more like unsettling part, is that they're like not worried about this at all.
Doing to stand in opposition to this administration? And what specifically are you doing that warrants the label moderate?
Which he's not. Like, any Republican is not a moderate. Republican moderates, as far as like Congress people go, do not exist. Last week I saw something about Elon criticizing the big beautiful bill. A couple days later he's out. Things that make you go,
So again, my record speaks for itself. I have been rated the fourth most bipartisan for a reason, which is a very simple fact. That unlike many of my colleagues, I actually do work across the aisle. I actually do sit down with my colleagues. There's not a single local elected official who can honestly say that I have not sat down with them and worked with them regardless of their party. There's not a single one of my Democratic colleagues in the Congress who can say that I don't do that. When it comes to votes, if you want me to answer the questions, let the question be asked, and then listen to the answer.
Honestly, like, nobody wants to listen to your BS, but sure. Go off.
If you're just going to yell back and forth, the time is going to run pretty quick. So, folks.
Amazing. Now, he probably wanted to remove the people who were heckling him.
Centers it on himself.
But since everyone was heckling him there, well, I mean, you can't remove everyone, but what you can do is make an example out of someone and try to get the other peasants to acquiesce. And that's what he tried to do. And the town hall turned into a complete fucking shit show when he arbitrarily decided to target one old lady because she dared to heckle him after she asked the question and he didn't answer her question.
Please detail what your red line is. At what point will you actually stand up for the Constitution?
Once again, like, she came prepared with her little, notepad. She's good to go. Fascism indeed.
I'm going to the White House tomorrow, and my colleagues and I will be meeting with the Department of Government Efficiency.
Blah, blah, blah.
So if you want me to be able to push back, that requires actually going and talking with. Because what it will do, it will bring economic investment back into the U.S. It will force. So for instance, I'll give you a case in point.
Are you serious?
Prescription drug precursors. Do you want China to continue to be?
Stop recording a very public event.
I'm not recording that. I'm recording this.
Yeah, you know things are going well when you have this going on here. You're having literal law enforcement removing older women. Imagine, like, this is the scene. Yeah, this is how you know things are going very well. They're just following orders. Also, like, I hope, like, just to be clear, like, I hope that people keep this energy up, okay? To remove these people from office, right? And just the reason why we keep it, hammering on this is because like people cannot forget. Okay, this is going to continue to happen. The viral clips are going to continue to happen as long as they keep doing town halls. Yeah, fine and normal. Always love a good shame chant. They should all walk out. At this point, yeah.
We have a lot of questions to get through. The congressman is giving you his time. Let's get through these questions.
So you keep interrupting as I'm trying to answer the question.
Let's remember.
Boom!
Great job, Mike. You really showed them. The crowd was certainly more willing to listen to you after you booted out an old lady who was definitely a threat. Maybe you should post some more dumbass rules at the entrance. That'll fucking help. I mean, these people are fucking despicable. And speaking of despicable people, Byron Donalds, who represents Florida's 19th district, was heckled by a pro-Palestinian
this guy
during his town hall in late April. And the bullshit that he spewed in response to her question was genuinely insane.
The Palestinians have voted for Hamas. They are not going to remove Hamas. So if you want to have a shouting match to please, let's have a shouting match on that. The truth is that Hamas held elections one time, and they never held elections again because they prefer to.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's why we're going to justify like the extermination of like who knows at this point, but definitely in the tens of thousands.
The Palestinian people under their boot. So if you're going to ask who has blood on their hands, it is Hamas and it is the people that empower them, which is the regime in Iran. That's the truth.
That is such a load of horseshit. Half of the population of Gaza wasn't even alive when Hamas came to power. But I think that politicians like him, who are complicit with genocide, they tell themselves these pretty little lies so that way they can sleep at night, but it's not going to erase the death and destruction that you support. Furthermore, there's no Hamas in the West Bank, so who's to blame there? What's your excuse now? Does Israel ever share any responsibility? Will you ever address their 75-plus year occupation or their defiance of international law and their war crimes? Well, of course not, because this man is a paid shill. He's paid to lie for a rogue genocidal state. And shame on the audience for applauding him, because that was not a good answer. Even though it works on people who are stupid, that was not a good answer. Now, the audience actually seemed split at this town hall. There was about 50% who was on his side. There was 50% that was like against him. I didn't play more clips from him because the audio was...
They're interesting times for an amateur sociologist. Like myself, I wonder what Bonifer, Jung, and Orwell would have thought of 2025 America.
Dog shit in every single video that I could find, including that one. But I wanted to at least show you that because that one had subtitles already on it. But, this man was shouted down the entire fucking time at the town hall.
These aren't... base granny knows her shit. Go limp and make them carry you out. Yep. Police aren't there to protect you at all. Police aren't there to protect you all in the crowd. They exist to protect the politicians from you. Yep. "2025 U.S. garbage country." No, that's true.
But the one time he seemingly got a little bit of applause was because of his genocide apologia, which shows you that, we still have to do more to raise the salience of this issue. But, credit to that woman for standing up and speaking truth to power, because that's what these town halls are about, and that's what you've got to do. Now, I don't have any more videos for you, but, I'm surprised that Republicans are still holding these town halls, to be honest. But, whenever your representative is going to do something like this, if they're going to hold a town hall or some sort of a meeting, you really should show up and make your voice heard, regardless if your representative is a Republican or a Democrat, because you are their boss at the end of the day. And if you don't think that they're adequately representing you, you have every right to tell them that.
Yep. If you're like this for like the Republican side, but if your representative is Democratic, you also need to prepare a question as to like why, like what is going on here, okay? Why is Hakeem Jeffries, or if you're a senator, why is Chuck Schumer such ineffective leaders, and why have they allowed the Republicans to get this much? A great example would be to prepare a question about how the Senate parliamentarian is only applicable when Democrats are in power. and only useful to stymie important legislation like raising the minimum wage, why is it not an issue for Republicans when they get into power? Staff of FEMA were left baffled on Monday after the head of U.S. disaster agency said during a briefing that he had not been aware the country has a hurricane season. It's great. It's good stuff.
Hello, fellow humans. I hope it is clear for everyone by now that we have to tax the super rich until we no longer have billionaires and multimillionaires. What makes someone super rich? Being in the top 1% of humans by wealth. That's about having wealth worth of $5 million. In this video, we will do a thought experiment. I won't talk about why we have to do it, but more specifically how to do it, because the how part always seems to be the most difficult. Taxing wealth appears to be difficult because of these top reasons. The liquidity problem. Most wealth is not cash sitting in a bank account, but rather it's comprised of non-cash assets, stocks, bonds, real estate. The undervaluation problem.
Yep. So far, no lies detected. More had a good segment on Schumer and Jeffries today. Both of their feckless lack of action is unconscionable. Yep.
Mansions, yachts, jewelry, artwork are not valued at their true value by the super rich. The problem of large-scale avoidance through loopholes and deductions. This is the legal way in which the super rich reduce their taxes. And the problem of high levels of evasion, also known as capital flight, to tax havens. This is the legal and illegal way in which the super rich just move money to countries where they don't have to pay taxes. In addition to this, most wealth of the super rich, roughly 50%, sits in stocks and mutual fund shares. About 93% of the US households' stock market wealth is held by the top 10%. And for those with wealth of more than $100 million, and into the billions, most wealth sits in business interests. The solution is to tax stocks and bonds in kind. Instead of the super rich having to sell
this guy sounds educated so far when it comes to economics.
Their shares to pay a wealth tax on them, the tax should be paid with the shares themselves into a public trust owned by citizens of the country. Instead of billionaire X paying 5% tax on all their wealth, that billionaire will transfer the ownership of a percentage, let's say 5% of all their shares, into the public trust. By some sources, people with a net worth of $30 million or more keep on average 32% of their total wealth in primary and secondary homes. How do we tax that? In the same way. Since we cannot tax 5% of a mansion, we would take the cash instead, or we expropriate the mansion.
Yeah. You see, like, this is the kind of debates that I would like to be having, right? My liquid worth is the action figure collection. Some guys have stocks and bonds. I have Deathstroke and Jango Fett. That's fair.
And the public trust takes over the ownership. What happens to the mansion after? Let the people decide. A community center, a fancy library, a concert hall, a school, a hospital, public housing, summer camp for the underprivileged. Paid for by the public trust with proceeds from its revenues. In fact, we can go even further and ban the ownership of multiple houses. Nobody needs more than one house to live in.
True.
Nobody needs 3 or 10 luxury homes.
True. Like, so far, like, zero arguments from me. The problem for us is too many folks, they will be billionaires soon.
Nobody...
Too many folks think that they will be billionaires soon.
It's houses.
Welcome, Wolf Glenn.
Housing should be a human right. When the super rich go out and buy up all the assets on the market, it makes them more expensive for the rest of us. It is time we took them back. What about stock options? Stock options are the right to buy stock at a fixed price. Most top CEOs are paid in this way instead of taking a paycheck. We can deal with them in two ways. We either ban them or we tax them in the same way by transferring a percentage of them for each individual into the public trust. What about other forms of wealth such as yachts, jewelry, or artwork? The public trust would have independent auditors that would assess the market value of the things and apply a percentage of wealth tax on their value. Of course, we can do even progressive taxation if we wanted. The higher the value, the higher the percentage of tax. When the super rich would run out of cash to pay for this kind of tax, the obvious next step is expropriation. We have done it in the past. We can do it again. The public trust
Yep, I have no problems. Zero issues with this concept right now. Absolutely gorgeous and heartfelt mini doc on Al Jazeera from a few days ago about an aging photographer from Iraq going back to where he started his career, taking photos in the 50s and on. Unrelated, but I remember I wanted to mention it to anybody who would listen. That's cool. Yep. Not allowed to trade stocks due to my job. The fact that senators and CEOs can is insane.
But in this way, a de facto shareholder in all companies that issue shares. Since this ownership comes with rights and obligations, the public trust would be entitled to participate in the profits of those companies and appoint members to the board of directors. These appointments could be done by lottery, by selected at random regular citizens. In addition to this, the public trust may gain the power to force the companies to become democratic institutions by allowing both the employees and the citizens to participate in the decisions taken by the company.
Nah, it sounds like socialism. I'm out.
As a precursor for a participatory economy. This method of in-kind wealth tax would solve several problems. Reduce the staggering levels of wealth inequality we experience today. Socialize the ownership of the economy by putting companies into the hands of the people and not the government. And democratize the economy by decentralizing and sharing economic power. The public trust itself can be an institution that is completely independent from
And by the way, like all of this can be done like right now. Like literally, like there's nothing except capital interest that has captured the methods as to which this could be deployed. That's it. Like this is not something that can't be like. This is what he's proposing. Isn't something like out of this world. If Congress woke up tomorrow, after like, I don't know, you know, like those devices that can like, in sci-fi movies, there's like, I forget which one, but there's like devices that can imprint dreams and imprint information while you sleep. So like, if during the night Congress was imprinted with all volumes of Das Kapital and woke up tomorrow and wanted to do this, they could. All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. Yep. The other problem is that the wealthy folks would rather go to a dictatorship than allow the U.S. to do all these wonderful things. Oh, yeah. I mean, like, they literally, yeah, they will literally burn this to the ground because they don't care. They have the resources to peace out if they have to. Wait, all on profit sharing and wealth distribution is safer than nationalized industry. Otherwise, I agree. You see, but like, these are the conversations that I would rather be having, as I was saying earlier. Inception, that might be the movie I'm thinking about. and just like get everybody like under machines and have them like imprinted with Das Kapital, and they wake up and they wanted to do this. Totally doable, by the way. One bill. Yep. It can be.
State with its own parliament selected by lottery, also known as sortition, from all eligible citizens. The public trust will then distribute a citizen's dividend or a universal basic income on a monthly basis from all the proceeds it collects from owning shares. There is no other method less direct than this in which all citizens can participate.
No, Icarus. Stop it.
Participate in the wealth created by the economic activity within a country. There are many details to unpack about how the in-kind method of wealth tax
I can imagine they stroll the streets of Berlin with Karl himself.
Would work, such as what is the right percentage for the wealth tax, what are the upper limits for wealth accumulation, how is entrepreneurship incentivized, how much should the citizen dividend be, how much power should the government have over the public trust, if any, how to track the personal holdings of all individual investors.
Free Grogu, he looks uncomfy. My Grogu is free, okay? My Grogu lives happy, okay? Well, you guys can't see it, but anyways. The real reason chuds are afraid of the so-called cultural Marxism.
Whether super rich or not, how would pension funds transfer their holdings into the public trust, and so on. I invite you all to start this conversation. Just to be clear, this method applies to super rich individuals. I have not addressed institutional owners who do not have individual humans as beneficiaries. Most companies operating in a capitalist market economy ultimately have individuals listed as owners of shares, even if sometimes many of them try to hide their ownership behind many layers of investment funds, asset management funds, trusts, and foundations. Some of you may say, give me a break, this would never happen. The super rich would never agree to this. Of course they wouldn't.
Right.
Many of them are psychopaths. Who gives up wealth
True.
and power?
Oh my God. Okay, please stop. You don't have to sell me this anymore. I mean, like, yeah, but like, how are we going to do this? Well, there's two ways of doing it, okay? Either the easy way, which is through the legislative process that we still have available to us, or the hard way. You choose. It's legit. This easy Canada did this. No foreign ownership, and we don't allow Airbnb. We're one legit election away from UBI. I would say we're a couple, but yeah. Like, we could do this the easy way with the institutions that are already available to us, and make laws and legislate and reorganize the way we do reorganize and restructure the way we do our economy. It's not going to happen overnight, but we could do it. Or we do it the hard way. You choose. I agree.
At will. If Burkina Faso can nationalize all its land, so can we socialize the wealth of billionaires and multimillionaires. We have done it in the past, we can do it again. Thank you for watching. We need your help.
Space. That is pretty based. I gotta dip out early. Sorry, friends. No problem. I'm gonna wrap up. Now you've heard of tax in kind. Oh yeah, I mean, like, these are basic, like, these are like policies that I would support. Like, I didn't know that it was like a whole like concept with like a branding, so to speak. Like, I may be using the wrong term, But yeah, I mean, like this is 100% something that I would be in support of. Like, you know, it's true. The way that rich people have their wealth is not like literal dollars. We do need to address that issue. Gotta walk my pepperoni before going to see Bring Her Back. No problem. We gotta get out of here. I didn't even get through the news, but it's okay. Actually, this kind of plays in better for tomorrow, as I'm going to do what I was supposed to do today, but you know, content. Nerd Cave TV, thank you for the follow, appreciate it. But yeah, content calls, so we answer. I'm just kidding. I just ran out of time. It's already 7 o'clock. A lot of wealth is overseas now. Yep. Thanks for the broadcast. No problem. Yeah, so we gotta like, if wealth is, let's say in a tax haven, then they can't bring in that wealth without paying taxes, right? As an example. If you have all your stuff registered in the Bahamas in that tax haven, when you want to bring back that money, that's where we'll get you. You know, you can save. you can try to save and hide it in the Cayman Islands or whatever. Not the Bahamas, in the Cayman Islands is what I meant. But when you try to bring that money, when you try to bring out that money, it's gonna be taxed. However you want to legislate that. Or we start expropriating your property, right? Because like if we can't tax your, like we'll find it, okay? If you have like a yacht, we'll expropriate it, just like how they took yachts from billionaires in Russia. Didn't they like with obviously this is not the same situation, but the point is, rich oligarchs' property can be expropriated, okay? And what one way or another, and it's true that a lot of wealth is held overseas. We have a problem with tax loopholes, and the point being is that yes, you're right, and we have to find a way to expropriate that, because this cannot go on. The levels of income inequality is getting to the point where it is just unsustainable. This is not working. It just can't continue. We should seize all their ill-gotten gains. Yeah, well, it'd be all of it. Yeah. Post-secondary education could literally be free if the wealthy just paid. Yep. Yep. All right, folks, I got to get out of here. Tomorrow, we're going to do a cool broadcast tomorrow. We're going to do a broadcast that's going to be short. And we're going to do a broadcast that's going to try to mimic what we are doing in this space. So with that, next week, next Tuesday on June 10th, this space will be launching, and I hope to see you guys there. Thank you for the follow, Uxers. Thank you for the support. Please go follow and subscribe. And I mean, this space is on everything that you can think of. That's right. TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, Blue Sky. This Space TV is everywhere. And we hope to see you there. There's going to be a lot of fantastic people and a lot of recognizable faces that are going to be doing syndicated shows on this space and live streaming. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit shorter. Tomorrow we'll see how it goes. What space? This space. Go and subscribe to This Space TV. Okay, in YouTube. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate you guys being here. If you want to support the channel, seriously, thank you guys. Thank you. Where space? This space. I'll actually put the link in chat. Give me a second. This Space TV. I got you guys. Whose space? This space. Our space, actually. Look at that. Subscribe. Go, 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 go. Thank you all for being here again. Why space? This space. Whose space? Our space. My space? Your space. June 10th. I'm serious, folks. June 10th. Pigs in space, not this space. Appreciate y'all being here. If you want to support the channel directly, consider checking out the merch store, hitting the exclamation mark tip. Join the Discord, folks, to keep up with the channel. Check out the Substack, all the things. Thank you for liking the stream. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for following here on Twitch. There's a whole bunch of you here. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. Thank you all. Thank you, Michael Hasser. Thank you, Heat, for modding the chat. I appreciate you guys. We'll be back tomorrow at around 5 p.m. Eastern time. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. We'll be back around 5 p.m. Eastern time. Usually takes me a couple minutes to set up, but we'll be there. Spread the word far and wide. We're here Monday through Thursday. Thank you all once again. So it's time for me to get out of here. As always, folks, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love you all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one tomorrow. Yes, like the video, everything. Do all the things, you know? See ya. Lots of cool stuff in the pipeline, folks. Very exciting. Thank you. Appreciate it, folks. Thank you, Sarah. Mouselander, This Space TV. Yep. Hang tight, folks. We're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye.